Although I love most Nintendo franchises, there's 4 big franchises that define Nintendo for me. Those franchises are Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, and Pikmin. Despite loving them all, there's one franchise among them that has always been relatively consistent with its games, the Mario franchise. I'd say Zelda probably is my favourite series of games, but the Mario franchise just has so much variation of fun games that it's difficult to see how any other IP in the entire gaming industry could become as well known as the Italian Plumber. The thing is, you can't really rank or review the Mario franchise as a whole, because there are many individual series of games within the Mario franchise. You have the mainline 3D games, the 2D platformers, the RPGs, the sports games, Mario Party, and even game series about other characters from the Mario universe like Luigi, Wario, Yoshi. Although I like all of these game types, except the RPGs are boring, there's one that I haven't mentioned, my favourite one, and the one we'll be discussing in this video, Mario Kart. Welcome back to the Nintendo chat room, where today we'll be ranking every Mario Kart game from worst to best. So without further ado, let's get to the video. My first Mario Kart experience was actually my first ever gaming experience. My first console was a 3DS XL, which came with Mario Kart 7. I was very little and had no idea how to play, but I had a blast. I also played a bit of Mario Kart DS on my 3DS, but I preferred 7. A few years later, I played Mario Kart Wii for the first time on a dusty old Wii. I got 8 Deluxe when I got my Switch, and I played both Super Mario Kart and Mario Kart 64 on Switch as well. So, as of 2025, I played every Mario Kart entry except for Double Dash and Super Circuit. But I've watched a lot of videos on both games and have talked to people I know who have played them. A lot of their tracks also came back as retros in future games, so I'll use this knowledge from all those factors when ranking Super Circuit and Double Dash. So here we go, my definitive ranking of all 8 Mario Kart titles. Let's begin. Now you're all probably thinking, well, we all know what's in last place, everyone else has ranked this in last place, it's Super Mario Kart. Well, you guessed wrong. I'm going to be different, because at least Super Mario Kart actually has a few decent tracks. Mario Kart 64, on the other hand, has nothing. Its quality of track selection has a very low range, probably the lowest in the series. Its best track is either Choco Mountain or Yoshi Valley, which are okay, but nothing more than okay. And its worst tracks are Wario Stadium and that awful excuse for Rainbow Road, which I would say are the only other tracks that could even compete with Figure 8 Circuit for being the worst in the series. And then there's the mechanics. As if the N64 controller wasn't bad enough, they attempted to add realistic go-kart mechanics to the game. I genuinely hate nothing more than any Mario Kart game than spinning out of control in 64. Also, I know this was Nintendo's first venture into 3D, so I can't really criticize, but the polygonal graphics are really ugly and give me a headache. Yeah, you can tell I'm not a fan of the Nintendo 64. Moving on. Okay, now we can go ahead and put Super Mario Kart in 7th spot. It understandably hasn't aged well, and its flat, repeated track themes don't help its case, but I actually really enjoyed the difficulty of this game. Maybe it's because I'm a zoomer who's never set sight on a CRT TV before, but I actually like the sharp turns and hard CPU in this game. But of course, I can't put it any higher than this. It's a respectable game considering its limitations, but its successes are just so much better. Except for one, of course. I also wish Nintendo put more effort into SNES track remakes in the future, if they're going to do them at all. I swear if Mario Circuit 3 comes back again. Now, before I drop the hottest take of the video, please note that every game from here on out is a decent game that you'll have a guaranteed fun time playing. That being said, if you're a fan of Mario Kart DS, I would maybe skip this part. Mario Kart DS is overrated. There, I said it and I don't regret it. Sure, it has some of the most iconic tracks in the series, Airship Fortress, Waluigi Pinball, Delfino Square, Luigi's Mansion, but then you have Yoshi Falls, Cheap Beach, and Desert Hills. Mid. And of course, we can't forget the creative masterpiece that was Figure 8 Circuit. Don't you love driving around on a Figure 8 3 times in a row? Certainly not a waste of a good beginner track. But we've only just discussed the Nitros. What about the Retros? Probably the worst retro selection in the series. I'm sorry, but Baby Park isn't the same with 8 players and 5 laps, and the rest of the selection consists of 4 SNES remakes, the most boring N64 tracks they could have brought back, cough cough, Frappe Snowland, and a couple of OK GCN ones. I also think that DS falls into the same pitfall as 64 when it comes to hardware limitations. I think that 16-bit and 32-bit graphics have aged better by 2025 than the early days of 3D games. At the end of the day, I still think that Mario Kart DS is a solid game, but I just don't think its overall quality justifies it being placed any higher than this. You're going in 6th place, buddy. Okay, so in 5th place we have Super Circuit. I know, crazy, right? How dare I rank a flat pixelated Mario Kart game above DS? Well, let me tell you something. Even as someone who wasn't even around yet for the release of the GBA, I can agree that this game is a criminally underrated gem. In my view, it's among the most creative Mario Kart games in the series. Each track has its own gimmick or identity. Cheeseland has little circular holes in the track to add to the cheese aesthetic. Lakeside Park features an erupting volcano. Broken Pier features boos which add to the spooky theme, and Snowland contains, well, a screen shaking gimmick? I don't know why they decided it was a good idea to add it for some reason. The point is, Nintendo managed to achieve this level of creativity on a 32-bit handheld. The soundtrack doesn't disappoint either. If you gave me the option between playing DS or playing Super Circuit, I would play Super Circuit 100%. In 4th place, we have Mario Kart Wii. Now, those of you who think that this is the best Mario Kart game need to stop using your Wii remote and start using your brain. But obviously, we can't deny it's an amazing game. The Nitro selection is extremely solid, except for Grumble Volcano. I just hate it for some reason. I don't know why, I just hate it. It's cool, but I just hate Grumble Volcano. I don't know why. And its retro selection is decent, if you forget about the SNES remakes. And it introduced a trick system, which made Mario Kart 10 times more fun. It's just a really good game. I don't have much to say about it. It's just solid. Now we've reached the top 3. These are the big 3. In 3rd, taking bronze, it's Double Dash. This time, Nintendo came up with a crazy concept, and it paid off incredibly well. 2 races per kart, character-specific items, and a really good course selections. I really like DK Mountain, Mushroom City, and Waluigi Stadium, but we all know who the real GOAT is, Baby Park. And if you're a hater, then you're just wrong. Us Baby Park enjoyers appreciate the work of art that Nintendo gave us, and you should too. In 2nd place, we have Mario Kart 7, and of course it has to be in 2nd place because just how consistent is this game? You have the best selection of Nitros, the best selection of Retros, and it's just consistent overall. The battle mode isn't half bad either, and it's just like the definition of a good game. There's nothing bad about it. Maybe Cheep the Good, but other than that, there's nothing that I can name in Mario Kart 7 that I can actually call bad, which is why, although it doesn't deserve 1st place, I can definitely not put it any lower than 2nd. But of course, our winner has to be Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. What a great game. 96 tracks, and while there are some bad ones, you can just ignore them. There's like so many tracks that you can play in this game. But it's not just the tracks, it's the character roster, it's the controls, it's all the gimmicks that they have from all the other games. And yes, the BCP does have worse graphics compared to the base game, yes, that's true, but when you think about it, it's actually not that bad, to be fair. As in, look at Mario Kart Tour and look how much better the BCP tracks are than Mario Kart Tour. There is a big difference. Mario Kart 8 also has a really solid battle mode, just would like to mention that. I know that the original Mario Kart 8 didn't really have a good battle mode, but this one absolutely does. And
you have to just appreciate Mario Kart 8 for being like a really solid, really like ultimate Mario Kart kind of vibes, kind of like the final boss of Mario Kart games. I think that they have their work really cut out for them with Mario Kart 9. I think they can't do it more than 32 tracks. No, they can't do it less than 32 tracks. I think they need to do 32 tracks or more. So, and I think even 32 tracks would be a bit too little, because of just how much Mario Kart 8 has. It's just a variety. 8 Deluxe just 8 Deluxe is the best Mario Kart, without the shadow of a doubt. And I hope that Nintendo finds some way of making a game as good as it, or possibly better, with Mario Kart 9. Anyway guys, thank you for watching this episode of the Nintendo chat room. If you enjoyed it, why not try checking out some of my other videos. I recently made a video analyzing why I hate the look of Legends EA, and I hated what Pokemon Company gave us in that Pokemon Presents. So, and I also made a video just recently comparing Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom, if you want to check that out. Also, you could join our Discord server, the Nintendo chat room, the chat room. It was made like a week ago, and you can do like a lot of stuff there, so it would be really cool if you guys joined. Also, one more thing. Why not submit your hot takes for episode 4? Basically, I have this series called Nintendo Chat Room where I look into your Nintendo hot takes and give them and put them into a tier list that I like to call the Spiceometer. So if you guys want to feature in episode 4, just submit a hot take on anything Nintendo related. So see you guys in the next video.